Welcome back to Five Ever Timepieces, the podcast where we dive deep into the world of luxury watches, discuss some of the stories behind these iconic pieces, as well as bring you guys relevant and up to date news from within the luxury watch world. As always, my name is Chris, and today is special because we're going to kick off our season 3 of the podcast. But we're also kicking off our March Madness series that consists of daily uploads for you guys. Now, as we get started, we're going to kick things off with a heavyweight topic, the Holy Trinity of watchmaking. Now, for those of you who might be new to the world of high-end watches, you might be wondering, what is the Holy Trinity and why does it matter? Well, in the world of watches, there are 3 brands that stand above the rest when it comes to their history, craftsmanship, and prestige. These brands being Patek Philippe, Audemars Piguet, and Vacheron Constantin. These are the titans, let's just say, of Swiss watchmaking. And if you're someone that's lucky enough to own one, you're wearing a piece of history. So grab your favorite drink, sit back, and let's break down what makes these 3 brands the kings of the watch world. First things first, let's talk about why these 3 brands are considered the Holy Trinity and what exactly defines the Holy Trinity. Now, it's not just about price, though let's be real, they're all insanely expensive. But this is about craftsmanship, heritage, and innovation. These brands have been pushing the boundaries of watchmaking for centuries, creating complications and designs that have set the precedent and basically have set the standard for luxury horology. As far as like Patek Philippe is synonymous with legacy and tradition. Their motto, you never actually own a Patek Philippe. You merely look after it for the next generation. Their motto, that says everything you need to know about their philosophy. And as far as Audemars Piguet is the rebel of the group, known for breaking conventions, most notably with the Royal Oak, which literally changed the game. Following this up, you have Vacheron Constantin. Now, Vacheron Constantin, they're the oldest of the 3, dating back to 1755. And Vacheron Constantin, they're just all about pure artistry and refinement. These brands don't just make watches, they make masterpieces. And that's why they sit at the top of the horological food chain. Let's start with the crown jewel, Patek Philippe, the king of complications. Founded in 1839, Patek Philippe has long been regarded as the pinnacle of traditional Swiss watchmaking. They are known for their complicated movements, elegant designs, and the fact that they rarely, if ever, follow trends. Instead, they typically set them. One of the most legendary Patek Philippe's ever made was the Patek Philippe Henry Crave's super complication, the pocket watch. This was a pocket watch that was created in the 1930s, like 1933. This is the watch that held the record for the most complicated watch in the world at the time for decades. It eventually sold at auction for like an unprecedented amount, I believe, like $24 million. Yeah, you heard that right, $24 million. Then there's the Patek Philippe Nautilus, which is arguably one of the most sought after steel sports watches on the planet. This was originally designed by the man himself, Gerald Genta, back in 1976. This watch went from being an unconventional oddity, let's just say, to an absolute grail piece today. Now, speaking of today you'd be lucky to get one of these at retail because the demand simply is just off the charts. But what really sets Patek Philippe apart is their attention to detail as well as their in-house craftsmanship. They even have something called the Patek Philippe seal, which is what, stricter than standards for the Geneva seal. So it's like basically this: if you own a Patek Philippe, you own a piece of near perfect horology. And then next up we have Audemars Piguet, the rule breaker. The watchmaker Audemars Piguet shook up the industry back in 1972 with the release of the Royal Oak. Now, at the time, well, luxury watches, they were typically small, gold, and dressy. Then came along AP with the Royal Oak. This was a bold stainless steel sports watch that was, designed, something else that was designed by the icon Gerald Genta. This is the same guy behind the Nautilus. It had this insane octagonal bezel, the traditional exposed screws, and that infamous integrated bezel. People back then, though, people thought it was crazy. But then, fast forward to today, and the Royal Oak is a grail watch for collectors worldwide. Models like the Royal Oak Perpetual Calendar and the Royal Oak Offshore. These two models have cemented AP's place as one of the most innovative brands in the game. But AP isn't just about the Royal Oak. They're also pioneers in ultra high complications like the Code 1159 collection. Now, this was a collection that showcased Audemars Piguet's insane movement design and their craftsmanship. Now, Audemars Piguet, they stay independent, but this is something that simply is going to continue to allow them to push boundaries without that corporate oversight or the corporate restrictions. The bottom line, AP took a risk and changed the watch world forever. And for that, they more than earned their spot within the Holy Trinity. Now, finally, let's talk about the oldest continuous watchmaker in the world, Vacheron Constantin. Now, Vacheron Constantin was founded in 1754, 1755? Now, Vacheron has been creating masterpieces for well over 2.5 centuries. So if you want heritage, this brand definitely has it. They're also known for their classic designs, their meticulous hand finishing, as well as some of their insane complications. Now, take the Vacheron Constantin 57-260. It's the most complicated watch ever made, featuring 56, 57 complications? That's a level of craftsmanship that's just mind-blowing today. Then there's the Overseas. This was Vacheron's answer to, I believe, the Royal Oak and the Nautilus. While it doesn't get as much hype as either one of those, it's definitely an incredible luxury sports watch with some top-tier finishing. Vacheron also dominates in the high complication space as well with collections like the Patrimony and the Traditionnel. Now, these collections, they showcase some of the finest craftsmanship in the industry. The takeaway, Vacheron Constantin might be I hope I say this right, they might be the quietest of the Trinity, but their commitment to artistry and heritage is second to none. So there you have it. The Holy Trinity of watchmaking. Patek Philippe for tradition, investment value, and complications. Audemars Piguet for bold design, innovation, and breaking the mold. Or Vacheron Constantin for pure artistry, history, and craftsmanship. Each of these brands has each of these brands has carved out a unique identity for themselves, but yet they all represent the same pinnacle of Swiss watchmaking. Now, like I've said before, if you're someone that's lucky enough to own a piece from any of these three brands, you're holding more than just a timepiece. You're holding a legacy. Now, for those of you thinking, which one should I get? That depends on what you value most. If you want the safest bet in the terms of status and resale, Patek Philippe is the answer. If you love bold design and modern luxury sports watches, Audemars Piguet is your brand. And if you appreciate quiet sophistication and heritage, Vacheron Constantin is your play. No matter what you choose, you can't go wrong with any of the Holy Trinity. These watches are investments, but not just in money, but in craftsmanship, history, and passion. All right, that wraps up today's episode as well as the launch of season 3. Now, if you've enjoyed this deep dive, make sure you subscribe and leave a review depending on which platform you're listening in on. Also, hit me up on Instagram or wherever you follow 5 Ever Timepieces. I'd love to hear your thoughts. So, what's your favorite brand from the Holy Trinity? Which grail piece are you after? Let's keep the conversation going. Stay tuned for tomorrow's episode where we will break down the king of luxury sports watches, Rolex. You won't want to miss it. Until next time, keep ticking in style.